Every living thing is made up of cells. You are made up of cells. If you want to understand life, you have to understand cells. So my question, class, what is a cell?
Hello, senior high school learners. My name is Mrs. Lorie Viduya-Viloria, your general biology teacher. Let's talk about cell structure and functions.
This lesson addresses the following standards and competencies. After the lesson, you should be able to identify the different organelles within the cell, describe the structure and function of cellular organelles. Every living thing is made up of cells. You are made up of cells. If you want to understand life, you have to understand cells. So my question, class, what is a cell? Cell are the smallest living unit of an organism. Cells are also often called the building blocks of life. Do you know that all cells have three things in common, no matter what type of cell they are? Meaning, all cells have a cell membrane, which separates the inside of the cell from its environment. All type of cells has cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like substance that contains the organelles. And lastly, all cells has its own DNA, which is its own genetic materials. Cell parts or organelles. What are organelles? Organelles means little organs. Organelles are specialized part of the cell that has a unique job to perform. Now let's start with the different organelles inside the cell. The cell membrane or plasma membrane. Animal cells are protected by a phospholipid bilayer that surrounds the cell. This cell membrane functions as the gate that allows the entry and exit of molecules within the cell. Nucleus. At the center of the cell lies the nucleus that acts as the brain of the cell. Nucleus is also known as the control center of the cell. Each and every metabolic activity of the cell is regulated by the nucleus. Also, the nucleus contains the DNA in the form of chromatin. This DNA is the genetic material of the cell that dictates what the cell is going to do and how it's going to do it. Inside the nucleus, it contains a round-shaped structure known as nucleolus. Ribosomes are produced or synthesized inside the nucleolus. Hence, nucleolus is also known as the site of ribosome synthesis. After ribosomes leaves the nucleus, they will have the specific job of producing or synthesizing proteins. Therefore, ribosomes is also known as the site of protein synthesis. Outside the nucleus, the ribosomes and the rest of organelles floats around in this jelly-like substance known as cytoplasm. One important function of cytoplasm is that it holds the organelles in place. Cytoplasm is also known as cytosol. Inside the cell, ribosomes may wander freely within the cytoplasm or attach themselves to the endoplasmic reticulum, or also known as ER. Endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, or simply ER, forms an interconnected network of tubules and vesicles. This organelle functions to transport protein throughout the cell. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. We have rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, or rough ER. Rough ER is rough in appearance since it is filled with ribosomes. This type of endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for the production of glycoprotein. The other type of endoplasmic reticulum is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or smooth ER. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum lacks ribosomes, hence it is smooth in appearance. This type of endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for lipid and hormone production. Next is Golgi apparatus, or Golgi body. Golgi apparatus contains a system of membranous sac called cisternae. It is an organelle that contains special enzymes that modifies, sorts, and transports proteins and lipids from the endoplasmic reticulum. Lysosome. Lysosomes are considered as the garbage collector inside the cell. These organelles contains digestive enzymes that break down cellular debris and perform intracellular digestion. It is also known as the organelle recycling facility of an animal cell. Mitochondria. Mitochondria is known as the powerhouse for both animal and plant cells. During the process of cellular respiration, mitochondria makes ATP molecules that provides the energy for all the cell activities. Let us proceed to another type of eukaryotic cell, which is the plant cell. Always remember, class, both animal and plant cells are similar in organelles, but there are three distinct differences that can only be found on plant cells. So plant cells contains cell wall, chloroplast, and a larger vacuoles. So what is a cell wall? Cell wall is a specialized organelle that can be found on plant cells only. These organelles serves as an additional protection and support for plant cells. Aside from that, animal cells do not have a cell wall. Chloroplast. Some organisms, such as plants, are considered to be photoautotrophic, meaning these organisms capture sunlight for energy. Plant cells have a disc-shaped organelle specialized in photosynthesis. This organelle is known as chloroplast. The chloroplast is where photosynthesis takes place. It's green in appearance because it has green pigment called chlorophyll. Remember, class, chloroplast is the site of photosynthesis, meaning the food-making process of plants happens in the chloroplast. Vacuoles. Vacuoles are single membrane-bound organelles which are required for the purpose of storage and waste accumulation. Vacuole serves as the storage of the cell. Plant cells have a large central vacuoles, whereas animal cells have a smaller one.
To recap our lesson for today, always remember, number 1, cell is the building blocks of all living things. Number 2, all cells have cytoplasm, cell membrane, and DNA, which is the genetic material. And lastly, both plants and animal cells have its own mitochondria. So that's all for today, class. I hope you learned something from our lesson. See you again next time. Happy learning!